Section 1 of A Sheaf of Verses. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Bruce Kachuk. A Sheaf of Verses by Radclyffe Hall. Press Notices. Twixt Earth and Stars. Quote, Miss Radclyffe Hall is a poet. She has a gift of expression, always felicitous, not infrequently spontaneous, and her rhythms are really musical. Moreover, the level of her book is uniformly high. In writing of nature, her intuition and sympathy are remarkable. Nearly every poem contains something which clings to your memory and sets you thinking. The main note is vigorous, joyous youth, thankful for the right to exist in such a lovely world. If Miss Radclyffe Hall acquires a higher finish, she may confidently look forward to taking her place among the poetesses of this country. It is not often one can so honestly recommend the public to buy a volume of poetry. End quote. The Queen, 4th of July, 1906. Quote, The author of Twixt Earth and Stars has a real talent for versification, and the subjects chosen are all poetical. Added to which, she has real feeling and the power to express it. I am so charmed with this little book of poems that I cannot help recommending it to you, that you also may enjoy it. End quote. The Lady, 5th of July, 1906. Quote, A little book of short poems, most of which are very pleasant, being marked by sincerity and sweetness. End quote. Evening Standard, 21st of July, 1906. Quote, Twixt Earth and Stars is a dainty little volume of verse, some of which is of considerable merit. End quote. Publisher and bookseller, 28th of July, 1906. End of press notices. Kinship by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Sunlight and shade, moorland and glade, evening and day, winter and May, troubadour breeze, amorous trees, pondering hills, gold daffodils born of the spring, thrushes that sing passionate notes from downy throats. Be unto me, each one of ye, sister or brother, and earth be my mother. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Moon's Message by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The moon looked in at the window and smiled as I wrote to you. She lay like a frail white maiden in shadowy folds of blue. Her bosom was bare and tender and slight, for she still was young. And down from her dainty shoulders a mantle of starlight hung. She wooed with a wanton ardor the winds till they lulled to sighs, and night was transformed with beauty for love of her limpid eyes. The soul of the cloudy darkness awakened beneath her beams. The sky swooned away with longing, the earth stirred in tender dreams. Alas, for the moon was cruel, far colder than snow was she. Her heart was a burnt-out planet, her light but a fallacy. And she looked at my open letter, and called from her couch on high, Pray give my love to my sister, who is even more cold than I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On a Battlefield by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Once o'er this hill whereon we stand, just you and I, hand clasped in hand, amid the silence and the space, a mighty battle rent the air, with dying curse and choking prayer, mid shot and shell, death stalked apace. Is it conceivable to you, so much at peace, because we two are close together? Or to me, the silent beauty of the noon seems like a heaven-granted boon, aglow with tender ecstasy. A little mist of hazy blue is slowly hiding from our view the city's domes and slender spires, as through a bridal veil the sun, subdued and shy, lights one by one the virgin clouds with blushing fires. The wind has fallen. Very low we hear his wings brush past, and know he creeps away to dream and rest. How sweet to be alone, to feel you breathe one longing sigh, and steal a little closer to my breast. Is anything worth while but this? We may not perish for a kiss, yet thus it were not hard to die. War strews the earth with countless dead, and after all is done and said, the end is love, and you, and I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Two by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The world that through its veil of tears looks out upon eternity has yet one smile for us, and we, still youthful in the count of years, may add our smiles and kiss the lips of life, for whosoever sips the wine within that ruddy bowl has quaffed defiance to the spheres. Beloved, see, I drink thereto, and pass the goblet on to you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The All-Mother's Awakening by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Today the still deep mind of the earth has steeped in longing her wistful eyes. A sense of wonder and glad surprise thrills through her heart with the thought of birth. The grave All-Mother looks up and smiles. Her breath comes balmy from sunlit mouth. Her bosom bare to the ardent south is fanned by perfume from fruitful miles. All winter long has the dear earth slept in drifts of snow, 'neath the bane of frost. Her children sought for the mother lost, yet found her not, and in anguish wept. All winter long have my senses cried for warmth of sun and the blue of sky. The hard north answered to mock my sigh, and all the glory of life denied. The cold mists drifting on land and sea, like ghosts of passions burnt out and chill, smote heart and soul with the fear of ill that cast its awfulness over me. the dank grey sails, and the dank grey shore, they melted each in the other's face, with clammy kiss in a wan embrace that left them colder than e'en before. And through the boughs of the moss-grown trees the sap flowed sluggish or not at all, while here and there would a dead leaf fall, like thought of harrowing memories. Then from the heart of the universe there rose a wail of unending woe, an anguished prayer from the deeps below. Oh, Mother, lift from our souls the curse! Oh, Mother, quicken thy sacred womb with fire that throbs in the veins of spring. Behold the numbness of everything, and only thou can avert the doom. Oh, Mother, hear us! But silent still the earth slept on, as it were in death. Her ice-bound bosom stirred not with breath, so fast she lay 'neath the winter's will. I joined my prayer to the wind and trees, I joined my cry to the striving soil. I said, "Oh, Mother, our endless toil has made us sicken with miseries. Rise up and help us again to live. Rise up, uncover thy fruitful breast. We faint in winter's unrestful rest. We burn with longings to love and give." And as I spoke came a voice more strong than all creation's o'er land and sea. It called our Mother to ecstasy. And lo, she stirred who had slept so long. She stirred, she opened her drowsy eyes, and bending down from the dome above, beheld the form of embodied love, as Spring stepped earthward from Paradise. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Summer Thought by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I often think that all those vast desires for purer joys that thrill the human heart, vague yearnings such as solitude inspires, that nameless something silence can impart, could after all be quenched by simple things, whose spirits dwell within the wide-eyed flowers, or haunt deep glades where scent of primrose clings about the garments of the passing hours. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Moth to the Flame by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Moth to the flame, fool that you be, life's but a game, love is the same, better go free. Moth to the fire, madness your fate, burnt of desire, if you expire, joy comes too late. Moth to the kiss, bringing you death, gladly for this agonized bliss, with my last breath will I adore as ne'er before, foolish moth saith. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Twilight Fancy by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Dear, give me the tips of your fingers to hold in this scented gloom. 'mid the sighs of the dying roses that steal through the breeze-swept room, I would have you but lightly touch me. A phantom might stir the dress in its passing of some lost lover with just such a faint caress, or a butterfly, one with summer, brush thus with his down-flecked wings the bells of the altar lilies he touches and lightly rings. So give me the tips of your fingers, not your hand, lest I break the spell of the moment with too much passion, and lose what I love so well. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Two Angels by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Once youth and innocence, side by side, with flaming swords, at a garden gate, stood forth in silence, to watch and wait, lest lust and evil their might defied. Love's rarest fruits in that garden grew, and lo, a pilgrim of pain and sin, grown tired, would gladly have entered in and washed his soul in the gleaming dew. He looked at youth, and the angel said, "Behold me young, and behold me weak. If you but crush me, the joy you seek shall quench desire on a rose-strewn bed. Yet oh, I pray you, another hour, for should you enter this holy place, my soul is given again to space, and I must die as a blighted flower." Then all the sorrow and all the shame that life had taught him to understand rose up and fettered the pilgrim's hand, and murmured, "Youth is a sacred name." He looked at innocence, nude and white, and all unconscious she met his gaze. Her eyes were soft as an evening haze, her red lips fashioned to give delight. She sighed, "I know not the boon you ask, but nature sent me to guard the way that leads to realms of eternal day. I may not shrink from the mother's task. Yet these fair limbs that are pure as snow, should you but sully by thought or deed, must droop and fade as a broken reed, that every wind of the earth may blow." Then all the goodness that he had missed, each dream of sweetness that passed him by, rose up and cried, "Thou shalt still deny thyself," and innocence stood unkissed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In the Hardt Wald by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A road disused these many years, o'er which the grass has grown, between two rows of silent pines that stretch in straight, unbroken lines away to plains unknown. Long ruts that passing wagons made in days whose records die form trenches for the frailer flowers that, timid of more open bowers, secure in hiding lie. And in those deep impressions there, where patient beasts have trod, with stems in dainty green array, and faces turned to meet the day, grow sprays of goldenrod. Mid sunbeams slanting through the wood, the ardent afternoon steals like a lover, fond and dumb, upon his mistress earth o'ercome with many a tender boon. And that she sooner shall respond to his awakening fires, he summons from each fairy glade wee winged things to serenade this nymph of his desires. So full of mystic power and life is this forgotten place, that I may scarcely dare intrude my presence and my lighter mood, lest stepping I deface some masterpiece of moss or bloom that dryad hands have wrought. Perchance my very humanness may make this potent charm the less that solitude has taught. I fear to tread upon a branch, for if beneath my feet it breaks, 'twould thus affright the bird, whose tender music I have heard in yonder green retreat. And who am I that I should dare gainsay the noon's behest, or penetrate this peaceful sphere, and bring an agony of fear to some dumb creature's breast? Within this forest, night and day, an endless hymn of praise from out the heart of nature wells, that once again perfection dwells in her profaned ways. That living green conceals the scars made by relentless man, while in the deepest sylvan glades sound faint and far through emerald shades the crystal pipes of Pan. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Quest of the White Heather by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Hardt Wald. I sought at dawn for the sweet white heather in hiding among the blue. The earth was warm with the summer weather, the flowers still damp with dew. I moved a stone with my foot in walking, a lizard ran out in fear. Two tiny streams to each other talking complained that I came so near. And all alone on the side of the mountain I spoke to the new-born day. Oh, help me to gather some rare white heather, sweet morning, show me the way. A big stag beetle crawled close in wonder, a grasshopper chirped of rain. A bee just pushing some flowers asunder buzzed loud in his vast disdain. The pines swayed gently as though with laughter, they knew what I came to seek. A thistle down that the breeze ran after brushed lightly against my cheek. And all alone on the side of the mountain I spoke to the new-born day. Oh, help me to gather some rare white heather, sweet morning, show me the way. A trout jumped high with a rainbow shudder to see how the mortals look, then swayed his tail like a silver rudder and swam away in the brook. I think I heard all the pixies saying, no heather that's white you'll find. I know I saw little gnome folk playing where the shadowy boughs reclined. And all alone on the side of the mountain I spoke to the new-born day. Oh, help me to gather some rare white heather, sweet morning, show me the way. Alas, alas, for the fairy flower my feet grew weary in vain. I sought for luck through each sunlit bower to find it truant again. Then while I paused on the side of the mountain, the stillness was cleft apart, and morning cried, he who seeks white heather must find it deep in his heart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. One Night by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. I stood beside you in the dark and felt the magic of the night steal o'er my senses till they swooned and mists of passion dimmed my sight. The stillness made me dumb. Those words I dared not utter choked my breath, each crushing each, as mad with life they rose to die a silent death. My lips grew dry beneath the fire of kisses that they fain would give, and every pulse with answering beat throbbed in its eagerness to live. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Welcome by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Dear ghost, across a wind-swept sphere you wander back again to me. And I am not afraid, for see, I bid you rest beside me here. I press your icy lips to mine, since you and I are almost one. Can I condemn what you have done to render fruitless the divine? Some day, perchance, our weary task may finish, and we two will stand before the Maker, hand in hand. There will be much that we shall ask. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
White Butterflies by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Wald. The heat of the midday has smitten the forest land dumb. The mountains are closing their eyes in a languorous dream. The boulders stand stark where the torrents once hastened to come, for earth in her passion is wholly consuming their stream. The ardor and terror of living is rife in the air that is breathless and stranger to motion or sound. A rapture so potent it seems near akin to despair is drawing the lifeblood in mist from the sun-ravished ground. And out through this region grow tense with creation's desire, inconsequent, fragile as thistledown wafted by breeze. Two butterflies flutter, like snowflakes that fall upon fire, far into the flame-land that stretches away from the trees. White butterflies, innocent-looking and soft as a sigh, in quest of what blossoms, what mystic pleasures, who knows? Close one to the other they hover, now low and now high, like thoughts that are breathed from the heart of an opening rose. Vague spirits that drift o'er the infinite tide of the earth as jewels of foam on the passion-torn breast of the sea. They know not the hour of their ending, the cause of their birth, a moment of time or a year. They rejoice but to be. Around them the problem of life, with its pain and its joy, impregnates the noon with a sense of some marvelous power. Above them, grown potent with strength to create or destroy, the shafts of the sun that have smitten and withered the flower. And still, with frail bodies unmoved by the vastness of things, these fairy white butterflies flutter like spirits of light. They pause for an instant, then spreading their tremulous wings, fly into the infinite, fading away from my sight. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Thoughts by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Anusha Iyer. A drop of dew that on a rosebud clings, a ray of sunshine in a world of springs. A bird, whose singing from some hidden tree is bathed in streams of endless melody. An open flower you trod on as you passed, the purple shadow that your passing cast. A breath of wind that lingered on your brow, an emerald leaf fresh shaken from the bough. A smile of hope on lips that you delight, a grateful word from one whom you requite, for some small service or a little sigh that fans your senses as it flutters by. These things to you how much they mean, while I... End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Cloud and the Mountain by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. A little white cloud loved the mountain. she hung in the sky all day, and gazed with rather a timid smile to where, beneath her full many a mile, the earth and the loved one lay. The mountain was silent and lonely, and grim in the light of dawn, and ever and aye he cast his eyes in longing hope to the distant skies where little white clouds are born. Till a breeze in the evening, passing, took pity upon her vow, and very tenderly lifted down the virgin cloud, till her fleecy crown was set on the mountain's brow. And they loved with a silent ardour, so great that she soon was slain, and drop by drop from her tender breast the life-blood flowed over his rock-bound crest, and fell to the earth in rain. But she left him to keep forever, as solace in endless woe, her soul, and now through the changing years, come shade, or come smiles or tears, it lies on his breast as snow. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. An August Night by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Hot with the ardour of the sun, whose burning lips had slain the noon, the golden pallor of the moon was but an added fire. Overcome with memories she swooned away, while I, grown weary with the day, sought on my balcony to find some solace for my groping mind. But lo! the awful night was fraught with anguish from the noontide caught. The dark was breathless, and the skies filled with 1,000 prying eyes, but scoffed to see my soul's despair, and flung me back my tortured prayer. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Spring Hopes by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Spring Hopes Song. Dear, perchance 'neath the frost and snow one little golden flower is sleeping. You shall find it, for you will know whither at dawn the sun goes peeping. Come then, sweetheart, we two will go hand in hand, and a truce to weeping. If, in spite of the winter's woe, safe in nature's maternal keeping, under the frost rime and under the snow, one little primrose is daintily sleeping. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Choice by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. I have chosen a hill very solemn and tall to shelter me. I have chosen a home very humble and small where I would be. I have chosen a wind very fragrant and gay to kiss my mouth. I have chosen a view stretching ever away when I look south. I have chosen a glow that the sunlight shall bring when morning calls. I have chosen a choir of the thrushes to sing when twilight falls. I have chosen a shrine where my spirit may pray, blessing its birth. I have chosen a breast where my head I can lay, sweet Mother Earth. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
In Couples by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. There are two happy birds in the tree. There are two happy stars in the sky. There are two happy waves in the sea. There are two happy clouds drifting by. There are two happy mortals since we are together, just you, dear, and I. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
House Hunting by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Where shall we make us a cozy house? Up in a high pine tree? Suppose the squirrel deserts his nest, and we could only grow small and rest under the twigs laid so daintily up in the high pine tree. Where shall we build us a lovely house? Under the ocean deep? Suppose the fishes would swim away and leave a palace of coral gay, with seaweed gardens where moonbeams sleep, under the ocean deep. Where shall we find an enchanted spot? Up in the fields of sky? Suppose the rainbow bends slowly down, and we walk over to Cloudy Town, golden with beams from the morning's eye, up in the fields of sky. How shall we live out our days, we two, safely where no harm parts? Suppose we fetter our lives with love, more fair than ocean or skies above, and learn to dwell in each other's hearts, safely where no harm parts. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Re-incarnation by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Meeting you I felt a thrill, strangely sad and strangely sweet. Some compelling force of will sprung from sympathies complete. Sympathies that rose again after death's ennobling pain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Ode to Sappho by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. If not from Phaon I must hope for ease, ah, let me seek it from the raging seas. To raging seas, unpitied, I'll remove, and either cease to live or cease to love. Ovid's Heroic Epistle 15. Immortal Lesbian, canst thou still behold from some far sphere, wherein thy soul doth sing, this earth that once was thine, while glimmered gold the joyous beams of youth's forgotten spring? Can thine unfathomed eyes embrace this sea, whose ebb and flow once echoed in thy brain, whose tides bear record of thine ecstasy, and thy despair, that in its arms hath lain? Those love-burnt lips, can death have quenched their fire, whose words oft stir our senses to unrest, whose eager ardor caught and held desire, a searing flame against thy living breast? Passion wan, Lesbian, in that awful place where spirits wander, lost without a name, thou still art Sappho, and thine ardent face lights up the gloom with love's enduring flame. Oh, goddess, woman, lover, all divine, and yet divinely mortal, where thou art comes not as cadence from some song of thine, each throbbing beat that stirs the human heart. Canst thou forget us, who are still thy friends, thy lovers, o'er the cloudy gulf of years, who live and love, and dying make amends for life's short pleasures through death's endless fears? Once thou didst seek the solace of thy kind. The madness of a kiss was more to thee than heaven or hell. The greatness of thy mind could not conceive more potent ecstasy. Life was thy slave, and gave thee of her store rich gifts and many. yet with all the pain of hopeless longing made thy spirit sore, e'en thou didst yearn, and couldest not attain. O Sappho, sister, by that agony of soul and body hast thou gained a place within each age that shines majestically across the world from out the dusk of space. Not thy deep pleasures nor thy swiftest joys have made thee thus immortal, and yet dear to mortal hearts, but that which naught destroys, the sacred image of thy falling tear. Beloved Lesbian, we would dare to claim by that same tear fond union with thy lot, yet 'tis enough if when we breathe thy name thy soul but listens and forgets us not. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Incompatible by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Today I hate that bitter creed whereby the groaning soul is taught that God Almighty finds the need of pain ere true salvation's wrought. Dear God, who did create the trees, the scented flowers, the misty view, the upland's breezy ecstasies, the ocean's iridescent blue, the arches of the endless sky, the magic of a day in spring, the down upon a butterfly, the anthem that the skylarks sing, all perfect growing harmonies, each tuneful sound and beauteous sight that lifts us from the miseries to raptures of supreme delight. Can I believe that thou hast willed each bitter moment I have spent, whereby in anguish were fulfilled thy hard decrees of punishment? Today is June. Since early dawn my heart has felt the sun's caress. I bless the hour that I was born to witness so much loveliness. And I would have a God of love, a tender God, who looks and smiles from some not distant throne above upon his fair created miles. I know not who has placed the thorns that pierce on our human brow, but I would pray on these sweet morns, dear God, oh, let it not be thou. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Confidence by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The faintness of my heart when strife and evil rose, the worse and lesser part which it forever chose, God knows. The passions that have bound my soul with chains of earth, the sorrows that have found their home with me since birth, the dearth of all these nobler things that make existence fair, the stain of sin that clings until we cease to care for prayer, all this must I atone, and though eternal woes my banished soul alone must bear without repose, yet I am not afraid to know God knows. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Found Wanting by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I turned to you, the sky was amber gold, blue haze and flaming bracken stretched away in undulating mystery to the day, reclining that the evening might behold and hide her softly 'neath his starlit wings. A trembling breeze caressed the nearer things about us, pausing now and then to play within the tender shadows of your hair. Across the sky, like darts flung high in air, a flight of swallows struck against the glow an instant, ere they melted quite away, like thoughts consumed by passion, and the lay of home birds grew emotional and low. My very soul came forth and sought your eyes, but in their depth no raptured awe took birth. You stood indifferent to the throb of earth. You gazed unseeing at the burning skies, and all it meant you could not realize. A little shiver crept along my heart, for you and I were strangers, far apart. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. In Darkness by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Oh, that the night were past, and morn, made lovely by the joy of spring, would flood these sombre clouds with dawn. Oh, that some hopeful bird would sing, and in his tiny feathered throat contain the answer, vast, remote, my spirit seeks in endless spheres of thought and prayer, yet never hears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Brother Filippo by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Ring on, O endless vesper bell! What can you know of that deep hell upon this earth where men may dwell? Ring on! Your calling is in vain. What holy right can lull the pain of mortal sin's immortal stain? It was the heavy hour of noon, when nature, still as in a swoon, reclines beneath the spell of June. I left the monastery gate and sought the forest shade, to wait for even hour and meditate. Upon the beads hung from my side a silver Christus crucified, God mocked and scourged and denied. My missal in my hand I took, and read within the holy book how vain the joys a monk forsook. I thought of heaven and all therein I hoped by penitence to win. My heart was free from mortal sin. When lo, as of enchanted spheres, a languid music smote my ears with vast delight and vaster fears. It was as if all deadly wrong, grown honeyed sweet in magic song, caressed my senses deep and long. My eyes, upon the missal bent, sprang upward, and in ravishment beheld a gaze on me intent. The figure of a tender maid, within the larch's trembling glade, clothed in sunlight and in shade, was bending o'er me, and her breast, full worthy of a king's behest, she offered, that my head might rest. She was most pale, and frail, and white, like moonlit mist on summer's night, like memory of wan delight. And through the tendrils of her hair there blew a breath of scented air, of all sweet things from everywhere. A limpid magic were her eyes, two mountain lakes where sunlight lies enamoured and of passion dies. From out her lips proceeded words more soft than distant pipe of herds, more tender than the song of birds. I know not what the tongue she spake, but all my senses leapt to ache with longing for her asking's sake. As in a dream, I rose and pressed her bending slimness to my breast, with eager kiss my mouth caressed the flaming redness of her own. All else on earth had nothing grown, save that we two were there alone. Within my ears the rush of streams, my vision shot with lurid gleams, my spirit bathed in burning dreams. A vital fragrance round her clung, as if from earth's deep veins was wrung the sap of springs forever young. It turned my blood to living fire, the universe immense, entire, was bound in me and my desire. No mortal man was I, while still I kissed and wreaked my ardent will upon that form of tender ill. She cast her magic over me, her spell of immortality that lost my soul eternity. The sunlight faded, and the day, as one affrighted, fled away, suddenly tremulous and gray. An icy wind sprang up and blew a shuddering breath along the dew. It chilled my body through and through. I sought the shelter of her hair, but lo! my sinful breast was bare, my arms outstretched to empty air. I wept aloud, in anguish cried, the echoes hastened to deride. She came no longer to my side. And in her stead, with agony of dumb regret, most bitterly, my soul came forth and looked on me. Within the forest's depth a bird began to twitter, and I heard trees stirring at its tender word. I woke as from a searing dream. Beside my feet a little stream grew rosy with a sunset beam. The earth gave forth her fragrant store, obedient to eternal law. All things were even as before. All things save I, who moaned and stood a stranger in the tranquil wood. My spirit shrank away, nor could refresh itself at nature's breast. Its lips were burnt, defiled, caressed of sin, unholy and unblessed. I knew it then. Fulfilled desires are in themselves hell's deepest fires, and man, when highest he aspires, the more may fall beneath his lust. And yet, ah, heaven! the while I thrust my sense in penitential dust, I knew that through my misery a tremor stole persistently of rapture at her memory. Shall I confess with spirit bent that hour of awful ravishment? Dear God, but should I not repent? 'Twere better that we two should die 1,000 deaths, my soul and I, than live an everlasting lie. O soul, what would you have me say to him whose hand shall never stay its vengeance on this woeful day? Ring on, O endless vesper bell! What can you know of that deep hell upon this earth where men may dwell? And God, does He know? Who can tell? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. An Autumn Ride by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Malvern. The world's a beautiful world today, a flame of gold and a dusk of gray, where autumn leaves toss their gaudy crests o'er still deep lanes, where the twilight rests. Just overhead, as I ride along, a hopeful thrush charms his thought to song, and all that's joyous within me springs to meet the promise of which he sings. Away to heaven the melting view is soft with raptures of endless blue. The trees and meadows, the hills and plains, like music woven of countless strains, submerge, entwine, till the eye can see no shade that is not a harmony. As part of nature's most perfect whole, each humble object conceives a soul. No tiny flower in the distance lost but gives its color nor counts the cost. No drop of dew, but its feeble ray, an atom cast in the pearly gray, is shining there, unperceived, content, a dim star set in earth's firmament. My horse treads gently and makes scarce sound, his hoofs sink deep in the marshy ground, yet 'neath the touch of my curbing rein I feel the youth in his veins complain. He lifts his head, and his eager eyes gaze far away where the moorland lies. He whinnies often, as though to say, I would be free on this perfect day. He too is filled with a happiness his dumb soul treasures but can't express, and in that gladness of wind and sun I know my beast and myself are one. The way is lonely. No passer-by disturbs the stillness. My horse and I possess the earth, and the rippling air, divine elixir to banish care, has brought new strength to my heart and mind, and swept all sorrowful things behind. Oh, joy of living when youth is ours! Oh, earth, my mother, thy fragrant bowers! Could they be fairer if angels trod beneath their trees at the will of God? Could fabled heaven e'er compensate for one such day, when the year is late and all the summer has come to dwell in long warm moments of dim farewell? When skies are pale with the tears that bless the soil in falling for happiness, and winds are fragrant with scent that flows from out the bosom of some lone rose, and brooks are drowsy with dusty gleams and languid thoughts of their winter dreams, the fields are vital and nude and gray, with future promise of fruitful clay. Ah, no, my being could not believe, my heart desire, nor my soul conceive a world more perfect, more dear, more true than this fair Eden I'm riding through. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Before Dawn by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Malvern. I rose, ere yet the eager light had wrested from the grasp of night the trembling spirit of the world. The dusk of dawn, with wistful eyes, stole timidly across the skies. A little cloud, its edges curled by passing winds, sped soft and bright towards some eastern paradise. No bird was yet awake to sing, and silence, kissing everything, compelled my doubting soul to rest. While yet I slept, a fall of snow had whitened all the hills, and lo, above the nearest summit's crest, a pendant star, as though to bring God's blessing to his earth below, shone like a thought benign and kind within the vast eternal mind. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
My Castle by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Michelle Fry, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in September 2016. Ah, why have I built my castle on the shifting golden sand, on the shores of the hungry ocean instead of the safe highland? I ask myself, and I answer, these sands are the sands of youth, and these waves are the surfs of passion, of life, and of death, forsooth. And I know in my heart I'd rather exist for but one short day, where the breakers of life wash highest, love, live, and be swept away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Malvern by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. July 23rd, 1906. Across the hills a tender shadow stole, like thought, upon the face of one loved well, and through the silence rang some distant bell, a vague sweet music in its every toll. Glimmers of sunlight flecked with purple shade upon the nearer summits, and the view, grown dim, unearthly, 'neath the silver blue of incense mist that rose while nature prayed. Two stars with tremulous emotion shone close side by side in the encircling dome, while drifting clouds, their edges soft as foam, made couches which the moon might rest upon. In through the open window came the scent of lime trees in the garden underneath, and from my cigarette a little wreath of memories to meet their fragrance went. It was an evening full of bygone things that mingled with emotions newly born, as night will ever clasp and kiss the dawn, and leave those kisses on her ardent wings. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To My Little Cousin by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. You're just as pretty as the day that, young and pink above the hills, trips daintily along her ways with little breezy thrills. I know that when she steps to earth and sees the blueness of your eyes, she'll think that thence she took her birth and quite desert the skies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Trepidation by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. This valley, now in sun and now in shade, is like the musings of your tender mind, that pauses, bathed in joy, yet half afraid to look before and then to gaze behind. Along the fragrant meadows slowly steal the pensive, drifting shadows, purple, blue, as o'er your heart that shrinks the while to feel the kiss of promise wonderful and new. Look upward, child, to where across the skies float happy clouds aglow with morning light. It is their shadow that before you lies upon the plain, and see, the clouds are white. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. At Meissen, June 29th, by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Beneath the lime trees in the garden, high above the town, the scent of whose suspended bloom entranced the air with warm perfume, I stood and watched the river flowing, flowing smooth and brown. The heat of all the summer sunshine centered in the skies. Beneath its spell the city's towers grew dreamy, and the climbing flowers upon the balconies hung limply down with closing eyes. Some drowsy pigeons cooed together on the nearer eaves. Gnats danced, and one big foolish bee, grown honey drunk, bumped into me, and ere he buzzed a lazy protest, fell amid the leaves. A bell began to chime. I watched it swinging to and fro. It made a solemn, pious sound, while flippant swallows, darting round to peer within the ancient belfry, soared now high, now low. Time passed, and still I stayed to ponder through the afternoon. Within my brain the golden haze wrought magic musings, and my gaze, bent inward, could behold no image save the form of June. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Winter on the Zuyder Zee by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The world has grown unreal today, far out upon the Zuyder Zee. We drift towards a mystic isle, with scarce a breath of wind the while. I hear the murmur of the tide, I hear you breathing at my side, far out upon the Zuyder Zee. The dearness of this inland sea, doomed thus to lie eternally a fettered slave, grown old between the dikes and marshes low and green, devoid of wind to stir the deep, forgotten heart so long asleep. O sorrow-laden Zuyder Zee! This awful hush engulfing things, the noontide hangs with outspread wings above the ship, all motionless. The penitential sails confess their sad inertness, damp and brown. From silent masts they ripple down towards the lifeless Zuyder Zee. I almost think that you and I are floating on a haze of sky. This is an unknown sphere of dreams, or else some region where the beams of daylight that have died unblessed by some kind thought stray seeking rest along the wastes of Zuyder Zee. And how strange to know that youth is ours, that do we choose a world of flowers and sunlight waiting to our hand is calling for some gladder land, so easy to attain, yet lo, we drift amid the mist and woe of winter on the Zuyder Zee. Is there a subtle charm when sad despairing nature makes the glad rejoicing spirit pause to think of those dim depths to which may sink the soul immortal, where the mind may grow as sodden as a wind that dies upon the Zuyder Zee? When all our loving and our will to love forever can't fulfill love's promises for age and death, that like a hushed unwholesome breath from off the marshes in the night steals forth, and all our past delight is colder than the Zuyder Zee? The very thought that death is near perchance makes life seem doubly dear, and love more urgent, since they too may some day fade away, and you become a spectral memory, devoid of joy. And what of me, O wise, world-weary Zuyder Zee? Your endless depth of stark despair but renders sunlit things more fair, but makes the craving heart more strong to grasp its pleasures, short or long, while yet it is today, nor wait upon the will of doubtful fate, lest all emotion rendered numb with long suppression should become, as you are, soulless Zuyder Zee. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ardour by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The thought of you has filled the night with wonder, the dawn with praise, till all my senses thrill like roses under the morning's rays. This love of ours has clad with new-found splendor the hills and streams, no forest glade but sighs of vast surrender in noontide dreams, no star in heaven but grants a starry lover some tender boon, no drifting cloud but longs to clasp and cover his lady moon, no song of bird that is not song of mating in sylvan shade, no sigh of wind that is not sigh of waiting for bliss delayed, the world itself a garden where we wander mid passion flowers, or pause to kiss awhile and fondly ponder this joy of ours. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Complaint by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Oh, why let all these winged days slip past us? Will you not give me leave with those dear eyes to taste the sweets of our new paradise, beyond the outer dark where fate has cast us? Must we forever see the golden portal, yet ne'er in glad abandon enter in? Dear heart, if loving be so great a sin, why have the gods decreed that man be mortal? And why were you created in their likeness? And why was I ordained to be your slave, if in the twilight I must dig a grave, wherein to hide my heart from morning's brightness? I tell you no! I will not leave untasted one drop of sweetness life may hold for me. Who scorns the present for eternity, I count that soul a sorry fool and wasted. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Laying of Ghosts by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Oh, weary ghosts, be still! Sad spectres of long dead delights, wan spirits of the days and nights wherein of joy we drank our fill, lie deep beneath the sod of years. Today, today is mine. Ye shall not blight its fragrant flowers, nor mar the passing of its hours, that love has rendered all divine by woeful sighs and falling tears. This is the sphere of life wherein the long forgotten dead, unwelcome, should forbear to tread. Within my veins hot blood runs rife, but ye are colder than the grave. What would ye have of me? What price that penance did not pay? What sacrifice of human clay? Must my delight, again set free, be tethered to a witless slave? While still upon this earth ye lived, and 'neath the joyous sun were warm and fair to look upon, I blessed the hour that gave ye birth, and all my life laid at your feet. The homage of my youth I daily offered at your shrine, nor counted dear those gifts of mine which sapped the very strength of truth and left her poor and incomplete. Nor did condemn the lust, the soul-destroying tyranny, with which ye wrought my misery, for in my heart was endless trust. My spirit, dauntless, knew no fear. Ye cry that ye were slain. Alas, it was not I who slew, for all my hopes were buried too within that hour of death and pain, and there remained not e'en a tear. Nay, it was Fate, whose hand, upraised to strike the awful blow, decreed that ye must die, and go lamented to that shadow land of lost illusions, perished soon, wherein the once time young, through countless ages, seek nor find their vanished youth. With wondering mind they sing the songs that once they sung, but never may complete the tune. Hence, hence, it is not yet the hour wherein I too must pass. The sand runs still within the glass, and I would live and fain forget those bygone things that once ye were. My lips have touched the rose, and in its perfumed breast the dew has quenched my thirst. And lo, anew the petals of my heart unclose, my pulses throb, my senses stir. Ye shall not steal this day, for love has risen to my aid. See, I am brave and undismayed. Hence, hence, all things must pass away. Back to your graves, obscure and deep. I read aloud love's prayer. Lift not again your haunting eyes towards my new-found paradise. Lie still beside my lost despair. And I command you, sleep, sleep, sleep. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Baby by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Anusha Iyer. Baby, with those solemn eyes and that yellow hair, you are very, very wise, baby dear, I'll swear. Give me, sweet, your chubby hand, whisper in my ear, since you seem to understand much that is not clear. If you'll sit upon my knee, baby, for a while, all that's sad shall go from me, vanquished by a smile. Very humbly will I learn that which you can teach, life's great problems, each in turn solved in lisping speech. You're so near to God, I feel poor and incomplete, just as though I ought to kneel, dear, and kiss your feet. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. O Lady Mine by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Song. O lady mine, one day I cried, pray make for me a posy, that I may think when from your side on your young mouth so rosy. Nay, gentle sir, the damsel said, the blossoms I deny you, but take my willing lips instead, if they will satisfy you. And then she kissed me where I stood, and may the saints defend her. Never grew a flower in field or wood, one half so sweet and tender. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Butterfly by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Song. Butterfly, butterfly, where are you going? Over the roses into the sky. Butterfly, butterfly, there is no knowing when you'll come back again. So goodbye. Butterfly, butterfly, summer is glowing. But with the winter you too must die, and your frail soul will be gently blowing upward to God on a rose's sigh. Butterfly, butterfly, butterfly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Two by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. A little love is newly born, and shall I say goodbye? For if I go, perchance ere dawn, a little love will die. I'd better stay and help it grow, since it is yours and mine, until this little love we know becomes a love divine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Windy June by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. The wind has shaken the lilac trees and scattered their purple bloom. The wind has harassed the honey bees and robbed the flowers of their melodies. The wind has gathered a host of clouds and smitten the earth with gloom. The wind has blown out the golden lights that hang from laburnum boughs, till nude and stripped of their past delights, the branches sigh through the stormy nights, like nuns who weep for their buried youth, and murmur their mournful vows. The wind has covered the hills with mist, and hidden my favourite view. The wind has torn at my garden beds, where sad young roses have hung their heads, and ah, the pity that one slim stem is withered, and snapped right through. The wind has driven the birds afar. The starling who reared her young above the door in the empty cot has flown away, and today there's not a single twitter from hungry throats, one minstrel of all who sung. The wind has stolen the warmth of June, so how shall I pass my time? I'll go indoors with my pen and book, beside the fire seek a cozy nook. Then when I'm sure that he can't get in, I'll write of his sins in rhyme. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Hollyhocks by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. I saw a row of hollyhocks, demure and stately tall. They peeped above a hedge of box, like maidens in brocaded frocks, who nodded one and all. Some dressed in pink, and some in white, and some in purple blue. They seemed abrim with gay delight to beckon shyly and invite the passer-by to view. A mottled thrush cast bold black eyes upon this fair array. He swelled his little throat with sighs, and tender notes of glad surprise he sang in wistful lay. But never a stately head was turned towards his lonely tree, although with ardent words he burned, those dainty maids for whom he yearned had only smiles for me. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Truth by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Oh, why is the world as it is, we ask, with tears in our voice and a sigh? For nothing remains but an unfinished task, while beauty is only hypocrisy's mask. The end of it all? But to die. Believe me, the world is a place full of joy, and happiness stretches afar. Alas, that the workings of man should destroy the meaning of God with the deeds they employ. Oh, why are we all as we are? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Mountain Path by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Alone upon the little path that led along the mountain's side towards the sun, I pondered over those passions that are dead. I counted all your kisses one by one. I spoke aloud the memory of each word my heart had heard. The scent of pines was heavy in the noon, the air most happy with the song of streams. Above the forest hung an early moon, but I was gazing at my perished dreams, and in that moment, while my soul was brave, I dug their grave. I folded each within a golden shroud, torn from the shining garments of my youth. I did not weep, but very gently bowed my aching spirit to the yoke of truth. Then in the stillness of the fading day, I knelt to pray. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Pearl Necklace by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Go, cold white pearls, with your luring eyes. The woman is waiting who longs to win but the rainbow light that within you lies, but the soft cool touch of your satin skin. You are undefiled, and the price of sin has passed you by. What the heart denies, can your whiteness, fettered and bound within this necklet's space, ever realize? You were snatched away from the deep, sad sea, from the mother's womb to the miser's pile. You are bartered now for a fantasy, for the hopeless hope in a woman's smile. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Two Roses by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Roses, I hate you, since you still can bloom contentedly where living love is not. Can fling one fragrance through this empty room, lift languid petals shimmering mid the gloom where love is not. Roses, I hate you, that you do not die disconsolate, since love himself is dead. These ghosts of burnt-out kisses drifting by, have they no power to hurt, to terrify, since love is dead? And all these spectral words that haunt the air, with hollow sounds, grown awful, meaningless, can you still blossom passionately fair within this region, frigid with despair, where all is dead? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On the Seashore by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Can nothing last? No deep, intense emotion? Have all things passed? Can nothing last? Yes, sighs the wind. My passion for the ocean must always last. Is nothing true? No words of protestation? Love cries anew, is nothing true? Yes, sobs the sea, my endless adoration for yonder rock is true. Will nothing stand against the stress of weather? Storms sweep the land, will nothing stand? Yes, says the rock, for God and I together, we too will stand. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. My Valley by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Oh, my valley of shade and dreams, golden lights mid the distant blue, sun that pauses to kiss the dew, dew that trembles beneath its beams. Fain were I but a bird above, floating, drifting on waves of air. Ah, the life of the birds is fair, for they wing to the spheres they love. And if I could but fly and sing through the sweetness of this dear day, I would bring all the hope of May to thy heart that is one for spring. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. What a lonely little corpse our love is lying, very cold and very still and very drear. Yet he throbbed with passion there was no denying, and we thought his every word divinely dear. Have we both grown old, that neither sheds a tear? Have our hearts grown dry, perchance with too much sighing? We are standing by the bed, at the foot and at the head, very solemnly. What, dearest, are you crying? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Finis by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. And so we closed the book, wherein we wrote how many words of ecstasy and pain, how oft repeated passion's deep refrain, like ebb and flow of tide, whose echo smote upon the hearing of our listening sense. These pages will become the prey of years, and time, who stretches forth an envious hand, shall make impossible to understand our burning words that shine with unshed tears. Aye, and we too may offer no defence. The early mornings of awakening spring, that smote our inspiration and desire, they still shall call, yet find no answering fire within the eyes of two at least, who bring but wormwood from the once so flowering path. And limpid winter twilights when we gazed through frosted panes across the purpling snow, or turned our eyes towards the cheerful glow of logs, whose kindly voices cracked and blazed with invitation to the sheltered hearth. They too shall come in season as before, yet we be absent, and within the room our vacant places cast a little gloom. Then shall there fall a shadow on the floor, as of one passing, who is yet unseen. Perchance a pilgrim wind will pause to look within this volume where our tale unfolds, and sorry at the text he there beholds, rustle with sighs the vellum of this book, but leave no trace of where his breath has been. Perchance a rose that through the casement bent might cast her ardent eyes upon this lay, and being touched, hide one soft leaf away between its pages, out of sentiment, then toss her wanton fragrance to the south. Aye, many roses shall be born to grace the garden, and the day will still rejoice, yet never at the echo of thy voice. Nor shall a rose lift up its longing face that we may cool our lips upon its mouth. And side by side with petals and with sighs, with overweening tenderness and trust, shall rest the deadly layer of choking dust. A weary skull, its sockets bare of eyes, with grinning pathos from the title page, will bear stark record of its master death. Sightless, yet seeing all eternity, with silent voice that rings more truthfully than any words we quickened with our breath, more full of wisdom than the speech of sage. We too have loved, and have outlived the laws of love, even as these bones survive their flesh with awful vigour gleaming strangely fresh amid the ruin of their natal cause, a peg on which the gods may hang their wit. We too have cast each other in the flame of searing passion that we deemed was life. Alas, those fiery billows flowing rife upon the sand, they have defaced love's name, and there remains no smallest trace of it. And yet we live, and walk upon the earth, beneath the pall of dusk the dome of dawn, and all created creatures being born must do, and thus atone their hour of birth. A living sacrifice to what? Who knows? Poor futile things, we make our little moan, and clasp our puny hands in useless prayers to that which neither wots of us nor cares, and in our grief behold, we stand alone, till our complaining lips in anguish close. My eyes shall still behold the stars above, and you, how oft will count the hosts of night, but never, never can we feel delight in them together, swearing that our love is more enduring than eternal things. O blessed madness that possessed the heart! O sweet unreason that could cloud the mind! Alas, that we have left you far behind, and growing wise must lose the dearer part, of which not even the faintest perfume clings. What would we not surrender overjoyed, to hear once more the music that is still? We sweep the strings, but lo, no answering thrill from shattered harps that eager hands destroyed, from souls whom ravishment has smitten dumb. Oh, for 1 hour snatched from the throbbing past, replete with its embodied ecstasy, how little would we count eternity, how ready be to know that hour our last, no matter what the penalty to come. Oh, bitterness, that we ourselves did write these pages with heart's blood, yet cannot feel today one little tremor over us steal, save of regret for so much past delight. The cup is spilt of which we too partook. For this time, oh, once beloved, stay close here beside me, while my drying pen has still the strength to write our last Amen. 'Tis written, there is nothing left to say. And so together, thus we close the book. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Old Verses by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. I made a little funeral pyre, and on it laid my youthful rhymes, those thoughts of innocent desire, dear foolish words of childhood times. Poor things they were, misspelt and crude, yet void of guile or vain pretence. They seemed like children thin and nude, and unashamed through innocence. And so, the while I struck the light that should consume their humble bier, I kissed them, and as funeral rite I mingled with the flame a tear. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On the Road to Tennaley Town by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Maryland, USA. Over the hills to Tennaley Town, when the leaves are red and the leaves are brown, under a limpid sky. Oh, it's good to be young today, strong and young on this lonely way, happy my thoughts and I. Far below, where the mists are blue, runs the river, and damp with dew glimmers the golden corn. Crickets sing in the wayside grass, beetles drone as I pause and pass on through the autumn morn. Winter's coming, the winds have said. Shall I weep for a time that's dead? Foolish to weep, not I. Over the hills near Tennaley Town, when the leaves are red and the leaves are brown, I'm here, alive, walking swiftly down. Then what matters the by and by? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Little Dirge by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. What so dead as my love for you? What so terribly dead? Lay it low 'neath the grass and dew, bury it deep in an earthy bed, then put a tombstone over its head with the words, "And this love was true." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Poet by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. I weave my verses of smiles and tears, gathered and shed for you. I bind them up in the hopes of years. Dear, will you read them through? I write my ballads of joy and pain, cast at your heedless feet. I set the words to a lost refrain, sing it but once, my sweet. I breathe my life into rhyme and song, what shall I gain thereby? The verse is poor, and the tune is wrong. Kiss them and let them die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A Night in Italy by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Time hangs suspended mid the perfumed dusk, with limpid wings, o'er which the first pale star gleams like a tear, within the tender, far, desirous eyes of lovelorn destiny. The earth is dumb, the scents of many flowers flow out from petalled lips upon her breast, in one unending sigh of happy rest. The halting pageant of the passing hours unfurls its misty pennants to the sea. The nightingale has swooned for ecstasy, and hides away amid the vine-clad boughs upon the terrace. Oh, impassioned dusk! Speechless with longing, throbbing with delight, to fling thy beauty in the arms of night, thy rare, dim beauty, sweet with breath of musk. Thou shalt not know thy joy, nor him requite with tender ardour, ere there comes to me adown thy paths from out eternity. My soul's twin soul, mine embodied bliss, torn from the countless ages by a kiss. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Hands and Lips by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Give me your hands to hold, for the night and the wind are cold, and the years growing sad and old. So give me your hands to hold. Give me your lips to press, for the light of the moon grows less, and the sky's full of dreariness. So give me your lips to press. Dear hands, dear lips, all mine! Let the moon and her beams decline, let the night and the storm combine, if your hands and your lips are mine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. We Two by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. What have we missed, we two, you and I and you, of sorrow and pain and tears, of doubt and of passionate fears, of madness and badness these years? And what have we missed, we two? But what have we missed, we two, you and I and you, of rapture and vast delight, of loving and living, of right to surrender, that love may requite? How much have we missed, we two? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Two by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. The sun has set. Beloved, see that star, wan with desire, pale in the afterglow, above the hilltop hanging very low, as though she stooped from her high regions far to kiss this earth because she loved it so. While I feel the trembling touch of you, feel the dim magic of your eyes on me, as though 2 stars had fallen in the sea and drowned themselves in his rejoicing blue, lighting his soul through all eternity. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. North and South by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Come with me, sweetheart, into Italy, and press the burning goblet of the South to those cold northern lips, until thy mouth relents beneath its draught of ecstasy. Drink in the sun, made liquid in the breasts of purple grapes crushed lifeless for thy wine, until those over-tranquil eyes of thine glow like twin lakes on which the noontide rests. Drink in the airs those languid vapory sighs of goddesses whose souls live on in love, those amorous zephyrs soft with plaint of dove from flowery trees of pagan paradise, until thy brain grows hazy 'neath the fumes of pale camellias, passionately white, of scarlet roses dropping with delight their wanton petals in a shower of bloom. Drink in the music of some ardent song, poured forth to die upon the wide still lake, until the darkness seems to throb and break in fiery stars whose pulses yearn and long. And then drink in, my love, the whole of me, in one deep breath, one vast impassioned kiss, that come what may, thou canst remember this, that thou hast lived and loved in Italy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. On the Hilltop by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. What is the end of all sweet things, of these dawns and twilights and golden springs, of the rose that climbs and the scent that clings, of the breeze that sighs and the thrush that sings, dust and ashes and death? No, my dearest, for you and I, here on the hill's summit under the sky, have found a magic time cannot deny to make immortal what else must die, the magic of love's warm breath. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Moon by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. The moon has risen from her cloudy bed and soared serenely into cloudless blue, white as a lily in a haze of dew, pale lady, to the summer darkness wed. She leaves her nuptial couch by breezes spread, and seeks her virgin solitude anew, while all the being of the dark thrills through with memories, the while her stately head she lifts above him to the purer height, nor heeds the restless anguish of desire, with which he seeks to turn to living fire the icy splendour of her luring light. She drifts and smiles into his ardent eyes with cold disdain, and smiling still denies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Speculation by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. If at some future day we two should meet, stand face to face before the staring crowd, and pull from love's dead form the decent shroud that time has wound about from head to feet, I scarcely know what words would come to greet your presence, if they would be soft or loud. Would your head be held high or humbly bowed? And would the moment bitter be or sweet to me, as you pushed back the long past years? Would I rejoice, perhaps, at this new pain? At least 'twould mean that I could live again, and had not washed away my soul with tears. I think there might be much that I could bless in that deliverance out of nothingness. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Meeting by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. To meet almost as strangers, who have been such lovers in the past. No glad delight to thrill our senses, till the wrong seems right, for very joy. I wonder, will your mien be happy? It seems years since I have seen you smiling. I shall take you to the light, and trace new lines upon your brow, and right above them may be some grey hairs. Your clean, strong profile, will it look the very same? Are your hands wrinkled? Oh, my perfect hands! Be not less lovely now that passion stands aloof, and dare not kiss you into flame. I could not bear it. Time can never blight such marvels, so divinely slim and white. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. To Someone by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Why kinder to the breeze than unto me? For oft you let him play within your hair, blow its soft curls about, and find it fair, the while he whispers low and tenderly into your ear. And yet how cold is he! And loves you not, but only frolics there. Sometimes I wish I might be turned to air, and thus be rid of my humanity, that finds no favour in your haughty eyes. Were I a breeze, you'd fling your windows wide, and give me welcome, as I swept aside the curtain, kissing all pride now denies. Your lips, your cheeks, your eyes, your throat, your breast, until with kissing, spent I sank to rest. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Out at Sea by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. The sea was witness of the words you said. She hushed her every tide that she might hear your whispered love. And while you bent so near my bosom, laying down your weary head to rest thereon, the corals in their bed stirred with emotion, shaken as with fear, and foam grew paler, passionately drear as some wan smile upon a face that's dead. I took your hand in mine, your living hand, and pressed it closer, closer in mine own. A nameless terror shocked me while I scanned your ardent face. There rose a stifled moan to part my lips. I saw the future stand before me, and behold, I was alone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Faith by Radclyffe Hall. Read for LibriVox.org. Ah, Faith, I'd barter all I own to know but one brief moment of your magic charm, whereby my spirit freed from earthly woe might spread its wings towards immortal calm. Is there no wisdom but it steals our peace? No knowledge but it leads us to unrest? My mind is weary, and would seek release from thoughts terrestrial. Those indeed are blessed upon whose hearts all simple holy things fall without question, as a drop of dew lights on a rose, and, though she gently swings, falls not to earth. Ah, Rose, if I were you, I would thrice bless your dumbness, since thereby your fragrant lips may never question why. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Scar by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Upon my life I bear one precious scar. Each night I kiss it, till anew it bleeds, and tell each drop of blood, as hallowed beads are told by those dear few who faithful are. To me it seems to beautify, not mar, my inner self, for from that deep wound leads a path to gained respect. My secret needs quenched by the bleeding of that fountain are. The fiery contest when that wound was won still burns within my brain, and robs of life and terror every lesser hurt that's done to heart or spirit. Let all harm run rife. I shall not fear again to look upon the gleaming edges of fate's sharpest knife. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Comparison by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org. Without what desolation! Mist and rain, and weeping trees, and roses that decay while still in blossom, till the autumn day lies low, and speechless, and benumbed with pain. An early twilight hides the gentle plain with mournful dusk, while meadows melt away like echoes of those tunes we used to play, ere time had turned them to a lost refrain. But leave the window, turn towards the room, so soft with firelight on the time-worn beams, a friendly spirit lurks within the gloom of dim oak corners, while a host of gleams await your fingers on our fancy's loom, to weave them into happy fireside dreams. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An Interlude by Radclyffe Hall, read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Crush these voluptuous grapes between your teeth, your small, strong teeth, and let their purple pain be offered in a sacrificial rain of sun-warmed essence, while I twine a wreath of all their leaves, and place it just beneath your high-combed curls, to rest upon the plain of your white temples. Though the nymphs disdain to grace our modern banquet, they bequeath a sylvan fancy to my wayward dream. This glint of candles on the silver round is yellow moonlight mirrored in lone stream. These flowers are springing from the sensuous ground, and we are dryads. 'Tis a fitting theme for you to sing. Come, thrill the night with sound. The shaded lamps that make the room seem dim, scarcely revealing pictures on the wall, yet one so placed to let a halo fall upon your hair. You smile. Yes, it's a whim, a poet's fancy with a moonlit rim perhaps, and yet a harmless wish withal. Don't quarrel with it, just sit there. Those tall white lilies make a background for your slim young body. Let the blinds be up, and night gaze through the windows with her purple eyes, dropping some ardent star from out its height for very eagerness of glad surprise at so much beauty, till your song's delight shall waft it back into the listening skies. Where shall I find a corner in this room, almost in darkness? Ah, that deep recess of languid cushions, eager to caress my weary limbs, from out its dreaming gloom, made holy by the incense of perfume. All unobserved and happy, I'll confess my senses to those roses, passionless and listening in their bowl of silver doom. Sing, sing, sweet friend, but soft, though eagerly, with tender pauses in between the notes, filled up with little sighs, unconsciously. These rose-dropped petals, they are fairy boats. Our souls may sail on lakes of melody, adown whose ripples youth eternal floats. Oh, burning silence, when the very air is warm with memories of sounds we love! You cease to sing, yet from below, above, around me, in me, of me, everywhere, that music's spirit, tremulously fair, flutters and flutters like a wounded dove, and cannot fly beyond this earthly groove. Midway it pauses, hanging throbbing there. I will not speak, lest it should seem profane in such a presence. Idle words of praise, ye are but mortal sounds, with no refrain that can endure beyond our passing days. And so be silent, silent with the pain of all deep feeling that can find no phrase. Kiss me good night, sweet minstrel, on the stairs. I love your lips, they're neither pale nor red, but like an afterglow when day lies dead upon the mountains. Do they say soft prayers, those languid lips, to God, a God who cares and gathers such dear follies, thread by thread, as each is woven in your mind, and shed like gold-spun silk upon his field of tares? You're silent. Let it pass. Who knows but you, so strong in weakness, may compel God's ear to listen for the smallest drop of dew that all our thunders would disdain to hear. And so, sweet, if you pray, repeat anew to God that while you sang I wept a tear. This morning, while I light my cigarette in this dim study, with its endless view stretching away to hills whose eyes are blue with secret thoughts, my thoughts are all regret, regret for broken interludes. And yet, if it were otherwise, who knows but you might grow to pall, as things familiar do, while now it seems worth while to not forget. And so, good-bye, my friend, drift out in smoke, vague and intangible, a fleeting joy that some stray match of fate in passing woke to burn awhile, like this small soothing toy between my lips. Time's galling iron yoke is not for us. We made, and we'll destroy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of A Sheaf of Verses by Radclyffe Hall.